Hello, welcome to Oceanic Oracle. My name is Ari and today we're going to try and get me out of a reading slump. Before we start this video, I wanted to say thank you because I recently hit 200 subscribers. I just wanted to say thank you. I hope you enjoy my channel and you stick around for this sort of stuff. So I would just want to say thank you all for watching. I'm just really appreciative for all the support. Now onto the video. So the one thing I will say is I have finished most of the books that I needed to for this month. I only have one left, but I've been put in a slump and I'm struggling, so I'm leaving that book for now. I need a breath of fresh air, so I thought this would be a good idea to do sort of like me reading multiple different books first chapter, but I will be drawing them from this, which is my jar of shame. It's like a TBR jar, if you know what those are. I've seen lots of people do it. I've just gone and written all the books that are on my shelves that I have not read, and I've stuck them in here. And I think this will be a fun thing for me to do. I'm going to try different chapters from like 5 books. So I'm going to draw like 5 of these. I'm going to grab them off my shelves and I'll show you what they are, and hopefully one of these will be good for me and I can kick my slump, because oh my god, I hate reading slumps. They are the worst. I guess it's time to start. The first one, oh, I've got 2. The first book is Death in the Dorgoin. You can see my misspelling. This book is a book that my mum lent me, so it's probably good that I have to read it. So Death in the Dorgoin, I haven't read it yet. It is a mystery thriller about a town in southern France. I'm going to try a chapter. I believe this follows the head of the police in this southern French town. I'm interested to see what it's like. My mum really likes this series. It's a good way for me to like reading some books that I need to return. I'll try the first chapter in this book, see if I like it. Now on to draw number 2. Okay, so number 2 is The Hound of the Baskervilles. This is a Sherlock Holmes novel. Okay, so I guess I'm doing some murder mystery things then. This is a Sherlock Holmes book. I do know the basics as to what this is about. I have seen the BBC adaptation of Sherlock, so I do know. I've never read the original, as one thing I haven't done. I haven't read any original Sherlock Holmes stuff. So I am excited to try this. The first chapter in this book is called Mr. Sherlock Holmes, so that should be interesting. We'll see if I like it, and if I do, then great way to get me out of this slump. On to number 3. Okay, so number 3 is Radio Silence. Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. Okay, so a YA contemporary. We'll see how I feel. I really do enjoy Alice Oseman's writing. I really enjoyed reading Loveless, which is behind this A here. I read Loveless last June, and I really enjoyed it. I've heard lots of good things about Radio Silence as well, so I'm looking forward to reading this chapter. We'll see if YA contemporary can pull me out of this like impending, like, I hate reading slumps. They just come up and like really grab onto you. So we'll see if this YA book will be the one that I choose. And now on to number 4. The 4th book I'm going to be trying is Noughts and Crosses. Noughts and Crosses is a dystopian story. So again, I haven't read a dystopian book in a really long time, but it follows 2 childhood best friends who end up falling in love, but they come from warring factions, the Noughts and the Crosses. This is a story about racism and romance and everything that entails. So I'm excited to give this a go. I'll see how the first chapter pleases me. So that's another YA book. Okay, so the last book that I'm going to be trying in my Try a Chapter challenge is, and it is Wild Horses. I think this is a D. Francis book. Yes, it is a D. Francis book. So this is, again, another book that my mum lent me, so this is good that I am reading it and going through my shelves. I do feel like I'm in the mood for something like this. D. Francis's books always revolve around horses in some aspect. D. Francis is an ex-jockey and he writes murder mystery novels, always with some sort of connection with horses, which I really enjoy. So this is about a movie director who comes to Newmarket races. If you don't know, in the UK, we have a few major racehorse tracks. Newmarket is one of them, and he's scrounging around looking for a new scandal to inspire a new Hollywood film. Sounds like something I would like. I'm looking forward to trying this chapter. I'm very excited. I haven't read D. Francis in a while, so this is going to be good. So these are all the books that I'm going to be trying. I'm going to go and read a chapter, and I will get back to you as to my thoughts and as to which one I'm going to be reading. I will go and read these and I'll have a chat with you about what I feel. Okay, so I've just finished reading the first chapter of Death of the Dorgogne. Interesting. So it starts off with an incident report as to a murder that has taken place, but obviously the first chapter doesn't revolve around that murder. It actually revolves around our main character Bruno plotting against the European Union. So this is about a small village in the south of France, and he is sort of preparing to make sure everything's up to the European Union standard of health. He's trying to protect his neighbours. Seems interesting. I'd like to see where this goes, but I'm gonna have to wait until I finish the rest of these books in this pile. This is a good option for me. It also takes place in May, which also makes me want to pick it up now because like it's happening around this time and I just have associations with that. So that is a possibility of one that I will pick up. But I'm going to put that aside for now because the next book I'm going to be reading is from The Hound of the Baskervilles. Hopefully I enjoy this, or I know that I like Sherlock Holmes, so hopefully this will be a good one. So I will get back to you after I have read the first chapter in this book. Okay, so I have just finished reading the first chapter of The Hound of the Baskervilles and have proceeded to get white all over my fingers from the cover. This is an interesting story. I do have a bit of prior knowledge. As I've said, I have watched the Sherlock TV show. The first chapter is actually setting up the consultation between James Mortimer, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. Seems interesting, but honestly I'm actually leaning more towards Death in the Dorgogne than The Hound of the Baskervilles today, which is interesting because I thought I would prefer Sherlock Holmes. I guess I'm a seasonal reader, so I guess the time of the year is affecting me. This definitely feels more like an autumn book to me. It's interesting. I do like the way that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle sort of sets up the introduction with the introduction of Sherlock and Dr. Watson. Lots of people have read Sherlock Holmes, and I think the way that it gets set up is quite good because it introduces you to Sherlock as a character, even if you had no prior knowledge as to what he was like. It get that set up, as well as Dr. Watson being set up as like a physician, and it's actually about Dr. Watson looking and trying to find things about James Mortimer. It's a good first chapter, but I'm definitely leaning more towards Death of the Dorgogne. So now I'm going to pick up Radio Silence, and I'll let you know which book I'm leaning towards afterwards. So I'll see you in the next slide. Okay, so like I've read the first chapter, which granted is only like 3 pages. Holy sh! This starts off strong. Radio Silence starts off strong. The building where our main characters work for her GCSE. So if you aren't aware, I know quite a lot of my audience is American. GCSEs are tests that you take at the end of your sort of like before you go into 6th form, which is year 12 and 13, so like the last 2 years of school. GCSEs happen when you finish year 11. I didn't do A levels, I didn't do GCSEs, I did IB, which is completely different. But if something happened, like something like this happened to my work in year 11 when I was submitting my personal project for my NYP work, oh my god, like that would kill me. So my school has been burned down. So this book starts off with a bang. I like it, but I don't know if I'm leaning more towards a murder mystery or if I'm leaning towards a contemporary. I'll have to think about it, because I think I might enjoy the shorter chapters in here compared to the longer ones in here, just based on what I'm feeling like right now. Okay, so these two are both in contention for books I'm going to be reading. I'm just thinking about if something like that happened to me at school. Oh my god, I would have cried. I'm already an emotional person, but I would have cried if something like that happened. So, oh, like I can't imagine if I left a piece of work in my locker and then it burnt down, like the school burnt down. Strong start for Radio Silence. But now I'm going to pick up Noughts and Crosses. We'll see how I feel about this one. And yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this a go and seeing what I feel like. I think this is also going to impact, like these things are also going to impact me on my choices for books next month. So keep that in mind. I'm going to pick this up and I'll get back to you afterwards and tell you what I felt about the first chapter. So I read the prologue in Noughts and Crosses and it's dramatic. It makes a statement. I am probably going to save this for next month. My heart was really beating, like racing for that. This story seems like something that's going to be really intriguing, but I also feel like it's going to be a bit heavy for me at the moment. So I am definitely going to be leaning towards like the thrillers, but I'm definitely going to be keeping this in mind for next month. I mean, if you've read Noughts and Crosses, I'm sure you know what the prologue is about. But that really made an impact on me. I know I'm going to like this, but I feel like for me right now with my slump, this is going to be a bit too heavy. I am going to put that on the back burner. Definitely going to be considering that for next month. So there is that. Now I'm going to move on to the last book, which is Wild Horses by D. Francis. I know I like D. Francis's writing and I can definitely listen to this on Audible book, like as an audiobook. I know I could probably go through this quite quickly if I want to. But I'm just going to see how I feel at the end of it. This has been really good and just like me expanding things that I'm considering. So I will get back to you after I finish the first chapter in Wild Horses. Then I will show you which book I picked to read to get me out of the slump. I've just finished reading the first chapter of Wild Horses and this is a somber note to end on. The first chapter in Wild Horses is quite sad because the main character Thomas, he is watching one of his friends die. Made me feel quite sad, but he's currently working at Newmarket and he's using this as an opportunity to be with his friend, using it as a sort of chance to share his legacy, I guess. He's currently filming outside the Jockey Club in Newmarket. As I've already talked about, Newmarket is sort of like the home of racing. But oh, that was a bit sad. I like the idea of the story, but I feel like it's going to be a bit too much for me at the moment. I feel like I need something a little bit lighter than this story. So I am making the choice between, Radio Silence and Death in the Dorgogne. Just based on what I'm feeling right now and the feelings that I got from this book, I definitely think I'm going to pick up Death in the Dorgogne. There we go. I'm going to be picking this up. Hopefully I don't end up drowning in this, but I think I'm currently I'm just in the mood for sort of like a murder mystery sort of thing that isn't completely bogged down and makes me sad like I'm feeling right now. Like the antics that go on in this first chapter amuse me, so I'm hoping that the rest of the book has that sort of sense of humour as well as an interesting murder mystery story. I know my mum really enjoys this series, so I'm looking forward to seeing what it's all about. So I'm going to keep that out. I'm going to put the rest of my things back into my jar of shame because I plan on using them to draw up my TBR for next month. Next month is going to be really exciting. You're just going to have to wait until I film my TBR for next month. The rest of them going back in my jar of shame, which is definitely going to come in handy for the next few months, but there we go. You are going to be seeing this a lot more on my channel alongside my TBR game. So we are going to be seeing a lot more of my jar, and I hope you enjoyed this concept. You get my first real reactions to the chapters and basically what I think one book is going to be like. It could be completely different. If you want to know my feelings about this, you're gonna have to wait till my May wrap up, which should be done soon, purely because next week is going to be the last real week of May, and I definitely tend to film my TBRs and my wrap ups around the end of that time frame. I hope you enjoyed this concept, and if you did, please let me know, because it might be useful for me to try doing more of these, particularly with this jar, because I have so many books. I have so many books in here that I haven't read, and I'd like to actually go through it and try and clear them out because it helps me know what I want to keep. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you want more bookish content. I hope you have a wonderful day or night, depending on when you're watching this. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!